Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. We are going to do the first video in the Black Magic mini series. And what we're going to get into today is what is black magic. Okay. So before we can really get into how to know if you're being affected, etc., etc., and of course, most importantly, how to clear, cleanse, and protect yourself from it. We need to kind of know what it is. So before we look at what black magic is, we're gonna look at magic as a whole. So the Oxford definition of black, or not black magic, just magic in general. It's the secret power of appearing to make impossible things happen by saying special words or doing special things. Okay. So that's kind of like an official definition. Another definition is it's using seen and unseen energy or elements to manipulate a situation or to receive a desired outcome. Now, with manipulation, that has a negative connotation, but what I'm talking about here is it's just manipulating, not in a negative way necessarily. Of course, that's we're going to get into that. But it's just the ability to manipulate certain factors. I can't really think of another like synonym for it right now. But it's changing certain things, or yeah, yeah, basically. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, so this is kind of my definition. What I believe magic to be is it's esoteric stuff that science isn't able to prove or show through, the scientific method, things of that nature. An example of this is bacterial infections and even viral infections and other prions, things like that. That used to be deemed magic. So, humans used to believe that if you were enduring an illness, it was black magic. And then we discovered microbes, basically, the development of the microscope and all of that. And then we started to understand that there's this entire world that we don't see with our naked eye. And so that changed kind of the belief about it. It wasn't so fear-based anymore. It was, oh, okay, there's more going on here. Now we can see it. And so now we can work with it. Well, same kind of thing. Science is catching up to a lot of these esoteric concepts and going, oh, yeah, there actually is something to this. They're able to measure the energy from the heart space and show that there actually is more energy that comes from our heart space than our head space. The second brain and the gut, there's a microbial connection between what's in our gut and what's in our brain. There's science is catching up to a lot of this. Science is helping to discover things from a different lens. And so anything that's deemed unexplainable in the physical realm can often be termed as magic. So that's just a way to look at it, so it's not so like, ooh, um like there is, it's a real thing. And it's using energies that we don't have the tools to fully explain it in a science way. So now we've talked about magic and what magic is. Now we're going to talk about what black magic is versus white magic. And I'm using quotes because it's, again, there's some people that do believe there's a racial connotation under it. Black magic versus white magic. There's also, it was thought that magic done in the darkness, like at night, is bad, and then magic done with the light is good. Again, these are human labels. For the ease, I will probably say black magic or white magic. I will also use malevolent for black magic and malignant, probably. And then white magic, I will say benevolent. And so all that means is it's the intent behind it. And that's really what my distinguishing factor is when it comes to black magic versus not black magic. Um just like I'm going to use the bacteria example. So only 1%, probably less than 1% of all microorganisms, which are organisms that we cannot see with our naked eye, viruses, bacteria, we've got archaea, there's all sorts of stuff that we cannot see with our naked eye. And there's this concept of like, oh, bacteria is bad, right? And in our views changing now that a lot of this information is coming out to the masses, um, only 1% of all of the microorganisms really are a pathogen for humans. So we've got this whole world, everything around us at all times is covered in microorganisms. And, they're within us, they're on us, they're around us, they're everywhere. They're in the air, they're on every surface you touch, but only 1% is what we would deem bad, right? With the concept of these bacteria or this virus has the ability to make a human sick. So it's the same kind of thing when we're talking about something like magic. 99% of it is used for good. It's used to help people, to enhance the life experience. It's to use the quantum realm and all of these other things and manipulate it in a way to increase the experience for the betterment of the human, of the planet, etc. A very small percent is used with the intention of harm, and that's going to be my distinguishing factor between nefarious or malignant black magic and not nefarious. So what else? I've got my little notes here. Give me just a minute. Okay, so the best guidepost maybe on if something is black magic or not is if it's going against free will and going against universal laws. Okay, so there's universal laws that govern our reality. One of those laws is free will. If you are doing something to go against somebody's free will, that's when we're in the nefarious realm. That's when we're in the black magic realm. Okay. This can be intentional harm to another or taking something from another person, their energy, their whatever. And then there's also, love spells, doing love spells with the intention of affecting another human being without their permission. You're in that realm. Confirmation. Because that's going against free will. Okay. Another way to think about this is magic is a tool. So it's like a hammer. Out of all the hammers that have been made, a small few have been used as a weapon to cause harm. Most of them are used to build a house, to hang a shelf, whatever, right? So it's another way to kind of look at it. And the thing with this is to have this perspective, it takes some of the fear out of it. Because when we're talking about this is something I really, really want to get through, and I will do my best to really kind of nail this home with the hammer analogy. Um, it's fear is the vibration that things like this can really affect us. So if we're in the universal love energy, the resonance of these two different vibrations of using this of using magic, basically, it doesn't jive. So you can think of it like a radio station. So if universal love frequency is over here on this radio station and black magic is on this one, let's even say AM versus FM, you're not going to be able to tune your dial or pick up that radio station if you're on this one. Okay. And so that's kind of a way to understand there's a lot going on here. We're getting into the quantum realm. We're getting into frequency and energetics and things like that. But ultimately, when you get to the point where you can operate from that universal love consciousness frequency or vibration at all times, this black magic stuff doesn't hit. It's a kind of you can think of it like an energetic grid system. And if you're on this energetic grid system, and let's use visible color as an example. So let's say that you're on this grid system that's red. You can be affected by other things that also vibrate at the red frequency. Okay. Now, if you're over here in violet, not ultraviolet, but violet, um, it's not, you're not going to pick up the same color because you're in a different color spectrum. That's a different wave. It's a different frequency. So by understanding these kind of basics around it, it will help to harness your abilities and remove yourself from being so affected by this stuff. Now, it's challenging for us as a human to stay on the universal love frequency. And so that's where especially I'm sure a lot of you are light workers, and with that, we as a light worker, you're especially if you're kind of watching this, you either are or you're coming into the awareness of the universal love frequency, fifth dimension, all of that. And we are still shifting up and down. We're still shifting 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D. And so it's just important to know about and to understand and have a full understanding about it so that you can protect yourself and so that you can claim your power back and operate from your sovereignty. Um and that's the biggest thing that I really, really want to get through here is you are a sovereign being. You have full authority and control over your own energy. So if somebody is sending you stuff, you have the authority over your own energy to clear that and to command it to leave your energy field. And the best way to really be able to harness your true power, so to speak, is by acting from a place of authenticity and not sending out that yuck energy to others. And so that's where it's kind of that, like, keep going back within. You know, if you get triggered, don't react, go back within. Okay. Little side tangent. Okay. Well, with that, yep. So I think that that is all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here and stay tuned for part two. This is where we are. What's part two? We are going to get into why. So we're going to get into the why. Why do people do black magic? So stay tuned. All right.